I think the main thesis of the book is that we like it or not, rising international migration flow is unavoidable and it is impossible, almost impossible to stop it. I think this is consistent with the trend of globalization, with the free trade, with the free capital movement. When we are using free market, we cannot artificially stop free trade. We cannot stop free capital movement and also free movement of labor. If we stop it artificially, we will have black market of goods, we will have black market of capital, and we will have illegal labor movement. This is a very interesting book, but if I may suggest for further work, is that the book should do more on internal migration within a country. We may not be interested on what happened in other countries, but internal migration affects a lot on the welfare of the country. I think you mentioned also what happened in China. And what happened in the country, internal migration, may affect international migration because change, movement in the country has a lot of impact on the social, economic, and political conditions and affects international migration. International migration also affects internal migration. So next project more on internal migration. And then how many is too many? It's a matter of perception. But in this case, perception matter more than reality. First, who are foreigners? I'm thinking foreigners not only those who are not citizens, but it may be citizens but not born in the country. It may be citizens who have been 5 generations in the country, but some people perceive them as foreigners because they don't feel they have the contribution to the area. Example, the Chinese Indonesian who have been 4 or 5 generations, but sometimes during the Suharto time, still seen as foreigners, no longer now. Or it is the non-citizen. But which non-citizens are we seeing as foreigners? Are only the permanent resident or those who are under working permit, employment pass, student pass? How about the tourists who are in the country for a short time, 1 week, 1 month? So I would rather use the word newcomer rather than foreigner. It becomes a threat when that foreigner, there is somebody who is different from us, make us unhappy. When they take something from us, then they become newcomer. When I came to ISIS 10, 11 years ago, next to here, building, we were very lonely, no building around us. It was very painful, it's very peaceful, very tranquil, no cars. I could walk very relaxedly, no car will hit me. But now, with the many newcomers, I have to walk very carefully. So this is the problem we are having today. In Indonesia, Timor-Leste, for example, formerly East Timor, why did they have the referendum in 1999 to the independence? One of the reasons is migration. The ethnic group in East Timor and the religion is very different from the ethnic group within Indonesia. When the migration came to East Timor, this non-Christian and non-Timorese dominate the East Timor life, socially, politically, and economically, and it makes them unhappy. And in Bekasi, a suburb in Jakarta, it happened, we had a violent riot there a year ago. That area was mostly Sudanese and Javanese, 2 ethnic groups in Java. Mostly they are Muslim. There are some Christians, but there are also Javanese and Sudanese. But suddenly, in the last 10 years, there's a group of migrants from Sumatra who came to that area and suddenly become very big. And they are Christian from Sumatra. Their behavior is different from the one in the Bekasi. And then it triggered violence in that area. I wouldn't say that migration is the only driver of violence, but it is an important driver. Of course, the role of external factors is also important. Another thing I like to share is that issue of too many foreigners or international migration and the political impact is a global issue, not only in a country, across country, but also within the country, like the example of Indonesia, particularly at the subnational level or even more at the lower administrative level. This migration phenomena is related to aging and development. There are three patterns of the relationship between migration, aging, and development. First pattern is in the rich economy. Fertility is low, shortage of young workers, migration coming, it creates social and political tension. The second phenomena is in poor economy, low fertility, but out migration, shortage of young population, and then severe shortage of young workers, and the economy is worsening. The third pattern is in the large cities, such as Manila, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, and Bangkok. Long history of immigration in the city, low fertility, but they still have a lot of young people. But people start leaving the city, going to the surrounding areas. A challenging transportation system as people live outside the city, but work in the city. Older persons will also move outside the city. Last one is about the global crisis. The subject of the discussion whether the global crisis affects migration. I hope I'm wrong, but the second global crisis is only a matter of time because the financial sector, the world financial sector has not been changed. How about the impact on migration? Some of us always think that the people from poor countries will come to the rich country. It depends who are hit by the global crisis. To migrate its money. Those who migrated to the rich countries are not the poorest in the region. The domestic workers coming to South Asia and others, they are not the richest, not the poorest people in the country. They have to have some money to go out the country. If these people are hit by the crisis, then international flow of migration will be reduced. But if they are not hit by a crisis, the flow will continue. But in a country like Indonesia, I predict if the world crisis is worsened, Indonesia will see more migration from abroad. This is particularly for the high-skilled labor who cannot find work in other countries may come to Indonesia. I think that's what I like to share. Thank you.